The Pulse School on realagriculture.com is brought to you by Saskatchewan Pulse Growers and Nodulator XL.
So we're going to talk a little bit about early field scouting right now, specifically pea leaf weevil. What are we looking at and what are we looking for?
Okay. Yeah, no problem. This is actually a winter pea plant, so it's quite a bit bigger than a spring pea plant would be. But the feeding characteristics are exactly the same. So if we look at some of our older leaves here, you'll notice all of the notching along the sides. That's actually feeding damage from the pea leaf weevil. They're a little kind of soil colored bug, so you're likely not going to see the weevil itself. Plus they also like to play dead, so if you come near and you make any vibrations or noise, they're going to fall off and hide in the soil. So we're going to look for the damage as far as our scouting is concerned. And in particular, when the peas are smaller, we're going to look at this clam leaf. So that's the newest leaf that grows out, and on this particular plant, because it's so far advanced and likely the pea leaf weevil have already laid their eggs and maybe moved on to onto a spring crop, but there's actually no notching at all on this leaf. And that's how we assess our crops, is by assessing how many of these clam leaves are actually being fed, because that's the newest leaf, we know they're actively feeding. Well, we'll pick a spot, we'll find 10 plants, and I'll count how many plants have feeding on that clam leaf. And if it's 2 or 3 plants and we're below probably the 5 to 6 node stage, then we might be able to spray for the pea leaf weevil. So obviously we'll start by the field edge. We will tend to see a concentrated levels of pea leaf weevil within the field edge, but I would likely like to stop at least maybe 4 or 5 different spots and walk into the field. You know, walk 100 yards in and then maybe a couple 100 yards in. Count your 10 plants, and that'll give you a better indication of the scale of infestation that you've had. If you're seeing more than 3 out of 10 plants all the way through, then and you're before the 5 node stage, an insecticide treatment might be warranted. But keep in mind, in doing so, you're killing pretty much everything, including any potential beneficial insects. If you're seeing lots of feeding, it'd probably be better at that earlier staging, sort of 2 to 3 nodes would be the most effective on the insecticide side of things. On the other hand, if we've dug up a plant, and in this case we've got really good root development and lots of nodules, at this point, in this case, we're definitely way past any opportunity to spray. The larvae that were here, or the eggs, have probably hatched, and they may be feeding on these nodules, but they're too small to really get a gauge on it, which is why, for the most part, an insecticide seed treatment is likely your best bet, because the real damage is when they rob your nitrogen-fixing free rhizobia bacteria.